did a video on why to buy a Super C, what are the advantages and disadvantages on it. I just did a video on the top 10 things that are advantages of a Super C and why you should buy one. Well, I'm going to counter that today with the top 10 reasons you may not want to buy a Super C, and the top 10 things to consider if you're buying a Super C, on how these might be drawbacks, or they might be things that, yeah, you really like, but certainly want to consider it. So, right at the top of the list, number one in the reasons not to buy a Super C is they're a high purchase price. They are not really a low ticket item. They are a big RV. They're built on a truck frame, generally a Freightliner frame. That's what mine is. I've got the Jayco Seneca 2021, and so it's a higher purchase price. The sticker on the 2025s is something staggering, like $360,000, which I certainly didn't pay that much, and certainly don't know if I could justify that. I don't have that much money just laying around, but they're more expensive than a Class A, they're more expensive than a Class C, they're more expensive than a Class B. Truck and trailer, you're getting into kind of the same realm. If you get a new $80,000 truck and a new $50 or $60 or $70,000 fifth wheeler, you can spend a lot of money on RVs, and remember, they depreciate, they go down in value. So the higher purchase price is one of the things where you've got to really consider that. Another thing that is a drawback, it's kind of along the same thing of price, is lower fuel economy. It's a large vehicle. It's got a large, powerful engine in it. It's a Cummins turbo diesel in my Freightliner, and when I'm towing a trailer and hauling across the country, going up and down I-15 in Utah at 70 miles an hour, I'll get 8.9 miles a gallon. So filling up that 80-gallon tank at $3 a gallon can add up, and add up quick. I know all kinds of vacation and all kinds of travel is expensive, even if you're flying somewhere and renting a car and renting a hotel for a week, or going out to dinner and things like that. It can get expensive. You can change your travel plans in an RV if you just drive, get some diesel when you get there. You can park and not spend any money if you're boondocking, and camp and eat out and enjoy a vacation away from home. You can put satellite internet on it, Starlink, and work remotely. So there's drawbacks, but it's definitely not the same as a Prius. We're getting less than 10 miles a gallon hauling this thing around. And the third thing is maneuverability in tight spaces. So, yep, one of the advantages of this is it's a big luxury RV, and one of the disadvantages of this is a big luxury RV. So, if you need to get into a gas station or a grocery store, or if you need to get into a truck stop, you need to kind of consider where you're going and what you're doing, and how to get there. A lot of times I have to pull up to a boondocking spot and stop, and I'll get out my e-bike and go drive around and take a look, or I will get out a four-wheeler and go drive around and take a look. If I'm kind of, like I said, I like to boondock. I don't really like to be on pavement with another RV right next to me, and another RV right next to me, and another RV right next to me, which I have the luxury in. Okay, so we're back to challenging and maneuvering in tight spots. So yeah, once again, the Super C is a big RV. It's on a big chassis. It's got the Freightliner engines, air brakes, air ride suspension. That makes it all really nice, but it does make it complicated if you need to get into a big parking lot like a grocery store or a gas station or a truck stop or travel center is what they call them. You need to kind of think and plan what you're doing. If you're going into a smaller gas station, you really need to be careful, especially towing a trailer, or even cul-de-sacs where you have to turn a circle. I don't dare go into a cul-de-sac with my trailer behind on this, because I can take it into a cul-de-sac itself and I'll have to do a 3-point turn, but with the trailer that's not going to work. So you just need to be mindful of that. It's a disadvantage, but it also comes with the price of having a large luxury kind of a rig. Fourth point here, it says limited access to smaller campgrounds. So once again, smaller gas stations, smaller convenience stores, smaller towns, limited access. Yeah, if you're going into official, real campgrounds, you need to be mindful of the limits. A lot of government campgrounds are 35, 40 feet is the limit without a trailer. I've been to campgrounds before where I was towing a trailer with the car on it, and I had to take the trailer over and park it in the overflow lot. So I pull in, unload my car off the trailer, take the RV down, park the trailer in the overflow lot, drive the car and the RV back to my camping spot, back it in, enjoy the camping trip, and then when we leave you have to do the same thing. You have to go over, get the RV, hook it up to the trailer, which in some cases you got to be mindful of small turnaround access areas when you got a 40-foot RV. Same with the Class A. I mean, the size of it's going to be the same with the Class C or Class A. Just Class C, I think Super C is a little bit more maneuverable, but then you hook up the trailer and then you hook the car onto the trailer, so it can be a little bit more playing around, messing around. I guess what you need is one of those super motorhomes that opens up and your little mini car just drives underneath it. That'd solve all the problems. One other disadvantage of a great big RV like this is the maintenance costs. Changing the oil is definitely different than changing the oil in, say, a Class C. It's got a bigger engine. Other than that, there's different air brakes on them that need to be maintained and checked every 10,000 miles if they start to get squishy or anything else. Parts are just generally bigger and generally more expensive, although one advantage to the Class C with the Cummins and the truck chassis is almost any truck center or almost any big truck shop can work on the chassis and work on the engine and work on the brakes and work on components of that, which is one thing that I would highly recommend. Is if you need chassis or brakes or engine work, go to an actual truck stop type repair place. Don't take it to your RV dealer, because your RV dealer knows more about the camping part of it and knows more about all the accessories in the trailer part itself, in the house, your fridges and your wiring and your slide outs. That's where your RV dealer can help you, or an RV repair person can help you. But for maintenance on your engine itself and brakes and things like that, you can take it to one of thousands and thousands of truck repair places. The other thing about the Class C, number 6 on my notes here, says reduce accessibility to the cab and the living area. So yeah, in a Class A, you just stand up and roll around and walk right back into the RV, and it's super convenient, super easy. The Class C, you have to kind of come down a step, and there's a bed above my head, and so a lot of times I've walked down through, and one time I even walked down and I kind of slipped, and I was holding the bed above my head, and I kind of tweaked my shoulder, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm getting old if I just did that. So yeah, you have to, you don't have quite as much access, but then you also do have the convenience of 2 truck doors on the front of the Super C. So get to the gas station, you can just pop the door open and climb down and fill up, and then come back and climb in. But it's a little more inconvenient if you've got the RV door open and unlocked, and you both get in the cab, and then you have to walk out and go around and lock it, or you have to get up, climb up over the step and lean down to lock the RV door for travel. So a little bit inconvenient there, but not too much trouble there. Number 7 here says less fuel availability for diesel. I I'm going to call bunk on that. I haven't had any trouble getting diesel. I know a lot of little gas stations or little towns and things like that may not have diesel, or they'll have diesel just at the outer pumps, which are the pumps I want to use anyway. But at least out here in the West, and I know even in Florida, there's Buc-ee's gas stations that are huge. I haven't ever had really any problem with getting diesel fuel. I will say that RVs are allowed to go in to travel centers, or what used to be called truck stops. They call them travel centers now because the people that own them want everybody who's traveling to come there and buy 80 gallons of diesel and some food and groceries and snack and lunch and everything else. So the difference with RVs in truck stops, if we'll just go with the truck stop, is truckers are busy. They're working, they're on the clock, they're getting paid to travel around. And in some cases they resent RVers who just have all the time in the world to just float around and flit around. So if you pull into a truck stop, get in line, get your fuel, and get out of the way. And then you won't have any trouble with any truckers anywhere. If you respect their time and just, you pull in, you wait, you gas up with the super high-speed pumps, and then when you're done, you pull up. And I don't even want to pull up and park there. I want to pull up and go clear around in the back and get out of the way, because generally I have dogs and I want to get the dogs over to the side of the lot where they can run around and be away from people, and I clean up after them out there. One quick caveat is parking or sleeping over at truck stops. I've done this a lot, but I do it just as a park and crawl in the back and go to sleep, and then get up in the morning and shower, or not shower, just get some coffee and get ready to go and drive on out of there. I don't set up my slides, I don't set up my barbecuer, I don't set up my chairs. Unless there's a designated RV spot at some of the truck stops, there's designated RV parking where you pay to stay overnight. But if I'm just driving along and it gets to be 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 at night and I'm getting tired and I need to stop somewhere and I don't want to camp, I'm just traveling through, I'll pull into the back of a truck stop and I'll try and get out of the way as far as possible. Same kind of thing, respect the truckers, let them do what they want to do, and then I want to be clearing the back out of the way so I don't hear their engines idling all night is another thing. So yeah, I've stayed over in truck stops a lot. Just be mindful of what you're doing and leave the truckers alone. Number 8 here says more complexity in leveling and setup. That's true. The systems are a lot more complex, but they are designed and built on this RV to push a button and the levelers come down, push another button, the slide goes out, push another button, the slide comes in, things like that. But it does add complications if something happens to your slide, the wires, the motors burn up, or this and that. They're more work to fix. Then number 9 says limited flexibility of storage, and what this means is generally all your storage is underneath. So if you're driving along and you want to get to something, it's a little harder to get to it. So really not quite as flexible as having a Class A where you have lots of storage inside and compartments and things like that. But I wouldn't really mark that as too much of a drawback, because there's plenty of time when you get where you're camping to get things out and organize your storage. One thing that is kind of inconvenient is the storage is all underneath. The slides come out. I tend to find myself doing a lot of crawling around on my knees, pulling out firewood or pulling out this or that, because it's all underneath the slide. So got to be mindful of that. Get your heavier items out before you pull your slides out. Number 10 here, it says there's more noise in the cab. That could be true. It's a truck, so you're driving down the road, there's wind noise, things are shaking and rattling. You essentially have your kitchen on wheels, so things in the back and the cabinets are rattling. Sometimes the drawers will pop in and out, so I've found you need to really be careful. coming out of a gas station over the curb if you're turning, that'll make the RV just go like this, and that's just when you throw the microwave plate out on the ground to break it. Don't ask me how I know that could happen. Drawers will open up, and so just realize the advantages of a great big rig are the luxury and the niceness of it. The disadvantage of a great big rig is you generally need to just drive it slower. You need to just generally stay out of the way on the freeway. You need to let the little cars and idiots zoom around you, and try not to just merge in and out or change lanes or anything else. Get in the lane with the truckers and just kind of follow them and not be in a big hurry. So I don't know that those are all disadvantages of owning an RV or a Super CRV, but I don't know if those are all disadvantages of owning a Super C, but they're all things you should consider. And once again, I'll say, love having the Super CRV, but I do realize it's expensive to own, so that's a drawback. So, thanks for watching. Leave comments below if you got a Super C. Tell me about yours. Tell me about your experience. If you live full time in it. So, other than that, like, share, subscribe, and call your mom. She misses you.